Welcome back, everybody, to Coffee and Art in the Morning, Wednesday morning. As y'all know, this is a live show on Ustream.tv if you're watching over on YouTube. And we have a live chat. I stream usually every Monday, most Wednesdays, and the occasional Fridays, 9 a.m. Eastern. Coffee and Art in the Morning. So thanks for being here. So I got my Mythomorphia in the mail yesterday. Kirby Rosanna's. And so I'm going to do a quick little flip through. And also I started a page. So the page that I started is this one. And the book now, the paper's thicker. Let me say this. The paper is much thicker than his Mythomorphia and Anamorphia. Much thicker paper. I'd say it's at least 90 weight cardstock thickness. I've not tried to, use, I'm sure alcohol markers go through even cardstock. But I never really, even with the thinnest paper, I never have a problem with any medium going through because I don't oversaturate. It's the water that breaks down and pills your paper, and that's what causes things to go through, other than alcohol markers. Alcohol markers pretty much go through everything. And but the paper is much thicker in this, and I think because the paper's thicker, it's a little hard to get the spine to lie flat, which, I try to just paint in the crevice, and it is what it is. It's a color book, people. Yes, the paper is much thicker. So this is the page, and let me go ahead and try to darken, tone down the brightness just a little, because it is flashing out. It'll give me a tan, but but it will be true to color. That's more true to color right there. So yeah. So when we color it, we'll have the right colors. The hard way you ruin your first. Yeah, you just can't. Oh, the thing about layering, whether you're doing it with watercolors or whatever, if you want to layer your colors, you have to have them dry in between. Dry in between. If you're using watercolor, your Neocolor 2 water-soluble crayons, or whatever you use with wet medium, dry it before you put that next layer. Okay? If you dry it before you put that next layer, then you'll probably be good. Yes, DeMonte, somebody already, Tammy messaged me last night and said, we want you to do the snow page. So I might do a little bit on that as well. But this is the one I started last night. So what I want to do is explain to you what I've done so far and where I'm going. Now, when I start coloring, I'll probably even zoom in even closer. But I wanted you to see the full book. And then I'll do a flip, and then we'll get to work. So what I did on this one, I started by painting the background, and I kind of mushed it around so it wasn't just flat. I wanted it a little bit light and darks, but I just painted it in with Irish Moss Americana craft paint. And anytime y'all see me use craft paint or paint, it is usually Americana craft paint. No water added. No water added. Okay, so I just kind of mushed it around, and it probably took me about close to 2 hours to paint in the whole background. And that's how I started. I painted the whole background in first. Then I went in here with just the kids' Crayola markers. Now, let me warn you, when you go over acrylic paint with these, you don't have to worry about it when you're just doing it straight on the book. But when you're going over acrylic paint, which is almost like, it's almost kind of like has gessoed your page, so to speak, you got to let that dry. It'll smear. You got to let it dry, okay? Or hit it with the heat gun, or even put another layer of pencil over it, which I wanted pencil over it anyway. But I stippled the whole bottom here with these are the Crayola Super Tip kids markers, okay? They look like this, bullet tip. And I like these because you can get tiny marks, you can get a thicker, thin, you can get different, let me get over here. So you can get thin lines, you can get a medium line, and you can get a thick, a thick line. You can get all that different variation of width with these. And as long as you're not scrubbing with these, I've used these on the thinnest color book pages without it going through. As long as you just do something like this, you're good. You start doing this over and 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 over, it's going to go through. It'll go through anything if you do that long enough, right? He who won't be, I missed something, Valerie. I don't know what you're saying. He won't be here long. I don't know what you mean. I missed something. Did I miss something? Mods have boots. If something's going on, they have permission to boot out anybody, any trolls, any problems. So I must have missed something, but my mods are in control. They're good. Okay, so I did some stippling with that, and I did quite a bit. That probably took me about an hour. I probably worked on this total about 3.5 to 4 hours yesterday while I was watching Janet, and then a little bit later. Anyway, I worked on it for probably about 3.5, 4 hours. So I did the dark stippling, and then I did a lighter shade of like an olive color. Yes, these are all Crayola markers. Now, again, because it's on top of a, you know, so it's like it's a non-absorbent, because I painted it, the markers sit on top for a few minutes. Okay, so you either have to hit it with the heat gun or be careful not to smear it, because it will smear until it's dry. What I knew what I was going to do with it anyway, so after it dried, then I went over it. I'm going to try to show you everything I used. Then I took an olive, or a dark green and an olive green. Is this the one? These two? Uh-oh. Maybe it was these two. I took a dark green and a apple green, and I just kind of blended it in a little bit more. So you can see I just kind of went over it even more over the top. But I wanted that stipply look. Okay, you can't get that with pencil, those dots. So, but then I just kind of started blending it out with the dark green, and these are Prismacolor. And then I used the apple green and kind of blended it in, going up, you know, toward the top. So I just kind of used those two colors to blend in the stippling even more. Okay. Okay. So again, I could, you know, even work a little bit more on the green down here. And these pages, y'all know, any kind of adult coloring book with a lot of detail, you know, even though I do kind of go kind of fast on our show, when I'm sitting by myself, I'm taking more time. Okay, I try to do as much as I can on the show to give you all the ideas, but just because I work fast doesn't mean I always work fast when I'm by myself, or that you should work fast. You don't need to. You take your time, right? But I kind of try to show you as many ideas as possible. So kind of do that, and then I took the apple green and kind of blended it in. And the green paint I used was the Irish Moss. And then this is apple green and dark green on top. And these Crayola kid markers, it was just one coat of paint, TNT, but it was kind of thick. Kind of scrubbed it in, you know what I mean? I didn't leave an area until it was kind of scrubbed in, because some paints, like some like lime green, red, and yellow, sometimes they need 2 coats. But if you're sitting there, where's a brush? If you take the paint, let me get another sample thing here. I'll just put a dot of paint out here. Whoops. Get the little crusty bit. So if you put some paint on it and you kind of do this, you just keep working it in until it's, you know, solid. See, I would just stay in one area, because some paints, it's not that the paint's thin. The Americana paint is very nice for a craft paint. And the reason I use craft paints and not like artist grade is because the artist grade paints, and again, I can't say every single paint ever made, but they'll have a sheen to them. And that sheen prevents color pencil from going over the top of it. Okay, so it's not that these paints are thin, it's just certain colors are more translucent. So you got to kind of keep working it until it's a solid color. You know what I mean? See how that works? Whereas if I just went like, like that, you can still see how it's translucent still. So I would just take the paint and keep working it, and it like soaks into your paper. Okay? All right, let me clean my brush. So that was the next thing I did was, oh, and I was going to talk about the Crayola. These are just Crayola kids markers. The ones that I have bought are like 50 in a pack for like $9.99. But if you use a coupon from Hobby Lobby or Michael's, you can get 50% off, 40% off. You can get a set of 50 for $6, $5. And then I've also heard people say that Walmart has sets of them as well. So they're very inexpensive and they last a long time. They last a long time. So those are the colors that I use there. There's no color name on them. And if you do get one, some of the sets, they used to, I don't know if they still do, some of the sets have a few black barrel ones. Those are scented. They're the same colors, but they have a scent to them. And if you know what Fruit Loops smell like, the yellow and orange smell exactly like Fruit Loops. But that's the difference. With the black barrel, it's not a different color. It's just that they're scented. Okay, same marker, same marker. Okay, so then after I did some of the darker green, then I went in here with the apple green and just started kind of blending it out. I'm just going on top of the marker and on top of the green paint. Okay, and you can do all this works, and again, it's hard to get down in that ditch. You can do this and have it work and blend pencils because the acrylic paint gives it tooth. It's texture. The Tombow markers are more, they're not as watery like. These are not what you would call watercolor markers. They're not like the Sakura brush watercolor. These will not blend like watercolor markers will. There's different brands out there of watercolor markers that will blend like watercolor. These are not those. These are just kids water-based markers. Okay, the Tombow are, I'm not sure what all, I mean, I know they're not alcohol-based, but, and I haven't used those forever. I had sets of them 20 years ago. I don't have any anymore. But for color book pages, these just work really good. Okay. Okay, thanks, Scooby. Thank you. I'm so happy about it anytime you get to spend time with that baby. So, and just take your time and blend and enjoy the process, right? Again, just because I'm going really fast on the show doesn't mean that you need to go that fast, or that I even go that fast when I'm coloring by myself. Okay? All right, so again, it did take me a good hour and 45 minutes or so, maybe 2 hours, to do all the background painted in. Okay? And then another, hour, I don't know. I didn't really time it, but, I worked on the whole thing for a good 3 hours. Then the next thing I did is I wanted to kind of stick with about 3 colors on her. I have not decided what colors to do him yet. And I probably won't work on him today because everybody wants me to work on the snow page. But anyway, before I start coloring a little bit more on her to show you, at least get you showing how I'm doing it. I don't have to color the whole thing for you to see that, but I want to at least give you a little flip of the book. Okay, so let's see here. Do I need to tilt it up a little? So there's other people, Laura included. I need to watch her video of, she did a complete flip of this. But I just want to kind of let y'all see some of the pages that are in it. I'm not going to really talk about each one. The names of the animals and the myth, or the, you know, that's all in the back here, what they are, you know, like the Yeti, and, you know, they're all in here in the back. So if you want to know, hey, Vicky, if you want to know what myth they're covering, or Kirby drew, they're all here in the back. So yeah, they're all in the back. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of show you here. I'm just going to do a little bit of a flip just so you can get an idea what's in the book. Yeti doesn't need to be done today. So yeah, kind of give you a little bit of close-up view. Just going to kind of do a quick flip. You can, okay, Funda. I love this one. Well, I like them all, don't get me wrong. Dragons. Just give y'all a little peek. Streamer's choice, DeMonte. Isn't it cool though, guys? Bye, Clarissa. And then here's the one I'm working on. And here's a Yeti in the snow scene. And I might do a little bit on this one. I might do a little work on here. Which page did you show that you loved? The tree face in the tree. This one. I think that's just so awesome. Wood nymph. I'm not sure what. Let me see what the title of that one is. Green Man. It's called Green Man. Okay, so let's keep going here. Turtle. Sea turtle. Okay. All right. Thanks, Marie, and happy birthday again. Werewolf. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? Look at that. The turtle is Laura's page. Yeah, she likes her sea turtles. Some more dragon. I'm just doing a quick little flip here, guys. I'm sure there's tons of videos with more in-depth. Well, let's put it this way, I can start the winter scene. I won't be finishing the winter scene. Oh, Minotaur. Oh. Medusa. Aren't they cool though? You like this? This is your favorite of his books? Yeah, and they don't have as many little doodles. you know, like in Anamorphia and Imaginomorphia, this page would probably have thousands of little tiny, I mean, it's still got some, you know, other things, but it would be just full of tiny, tiny little doodles. And that's awesome for those books, but it was nice to have one that's different. You know, it doesn't have, it's still a detail, don't get me wrong. A lot of detail. But it doesn't have millions of little tiny hidden little creatures and things. You know? Some elves and orcs and there's a little fairy down here. Yeah, not so many tiny doodles. Yeah, exactly. So just doing a quick little flip here for you guys. Just so you can kind of see. Isn't that cool? Look at the detail. Cyclops. See, like this one has quite a bit in it. This is how all his other pages were. You know, just full of doodles. And then here's all the hidden items. And then here's all the different, which creatures are and where the hidden items are. And then here's this Anamorphia and Imaginomorphia there. So yeah, okay. So let's go back to the page I'm working on, and I'm going to zoom in and hopefully get some of the flash gone and show you what I'm working on here. So 1 second. Okay. Come on. Focus. Focus. That's pretty good color there. I'll look like I'll look like I have a nice tan, but but I want the colors to be true to what they are, you know. And that's pretty good right there. Okay, so then what I've done, the colors that I decided to use on her, I wanted all this to be just these 3 colors. Well, there's a, you know, a little bit of variation, but so I went with a mint, I went with a pink, and I went with it's not this yellow. It's kind of a darker yellow. So these are the colors that I decided to do her in. And so those are the colors in the markers, in the Crayola kid markers. And then I got, where's my shades? I got the mint green. It's called, let me get my pale green. Pale green. It's like a mint green. And then the pink. Okay, which it looks a little orange on camera, but it's pink. And a yellow somewhere. No, I was just using this. Okay, so this is what I'm using to do this. If you have any questions, put them in caps. And then I also have the white Posca pen. And I outlined all of it in Posca. And some I did as I'm going, some I did, you know, I colored some and then just filled in some of the areas. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to use white to feather it out. Let me get my white. So this is kind of what all I'm using at the moment. Will I go back in and shade some darker? Maybe. But I wanted to get all this done first. And then, and again, that looks orange, guys, but this is actually pink. That is like pink pink. But it looks orange on camera. But it's the same pink as this marker, okay? So what I've done is I'm taking my yellow, and I just kind of sketched in where I'm going to want some darker yellow. Can y'all see okay? Is the color, I mean, is the lighting okay? Hopefully y'all can see all right here. So I just kind of went in here and found the yellow areas. I'll accent even darker, like see how I've done that darker right in there, the yellows. So I'll end up going in here and doing some darker areas, but I didn't want to get it too heavy yet with the yellow, because I really want a lot of the pink and the mint to show through. All right, so I started out with the leaves and these little berries. So again, I just used the markers, okay, and did that. And I just kind of skipped around. I just kind of did, you know, some pink, just pink and green mixed up. And then the yellow berries, all right? The little elves here, I did in pink and yellow, and it's really hard to see the detail. They're very tiny. I can see it when I look at them here, but it kind of, because they have the white around them, but I have a plan for that. I'm going to make them glow. But so right now they're just outlined, as is the tree, okay? And there's a couple places like right here that I've missed going like really around it here. But I've outlined everything on the edge, okay? And in here I'll outline those as well, but I haven't got to this point yet. But when I get up here and start coloring in the tree, I'll go around, let's see, here. See how I did that around white here on the little negative spaces, okay? All right, then what I did is, so after I did those leaves right here, the pink, the teal or the mint, and the yellow with the markers, all right, then I'm going back in here with my mint and pink and starting to just color in, and it's very random. It's like, here's some pink, now right next to the pink I'm going to do the mint. Because what my idea is of this is I want her to fade, it all just to fade into treeage. Okay? So, let me move this out of the way. This keeps rolling in my space. So that's what I'm doing, is just kind of going in here with, and just switching back and forth. That's still a little flashed out, but it's really should be right there, but I can't really prop it up. I don't think I can. Let's see, maybe I can find something to prop it up with. One of my art journals here. Okay, so let's try one of my art journals to prop it up a little, just so you can, there we go. Because it's still, I have the light right there and I'm very close up and it does want to flash out. But I want you to be able to see the different colors. So even on one little branch, see this one branch right here? It's got the blue, the pink, the yellow, and then blue and pink right next to each other. I want it all just to flow into each other. Okay, so you like her face here? See that green there? And then pink, and I'm just kind of blending it all together. Does that make sense? Can y'all? Treeage, yeah. So I'm just trying to keep a little of each color on each branch. So like there's a little blue on that, and then I'll just go to pink and kind of blend that in too. So I'm just going back and forth between the pink and I don't want to shake. There we go. The pink and the mint. And then if I start to lose any of the orangey yellow color from the marker, I can just go almost like right back on top and add a little bit of marker in there and kind of darken it up. Love the colors and how I'm doing the tree. Good, thanks guys. So that's all, the whole tree is going to be this. And it'll take a while because I'm just going back and forth between the mint, the pink, and then if I need to, you know, pop out a little bit of the orange color a little here and there, I just go back over it like that. but you really want to get as much of the pencil done. That's why I very lightly did the orange down here, because if you try to go over your marker, it'll go over it some, but it'll kind of dull down the color if you go over it with your pencil. So you want to get as much of the pencil in there. I just kind of have some orange indications of where I want it. Bye, Carol Renee. Thanks for coming in. Anybody else I might have missed? Thanks for being here. So the whole tree, I want it to be these 3 colors. And then just kind of, they all just kind of mix and blend together. So you just got to keep going back and forth between them. And then if you find a place that needs a little bit more orange, the orange will go on top, you know, fairly well. If y'all have any questions, put them in caps, guys. Otherwise, the chat scrolls by really fast. So I just kind of hold both pencils here. A little pink, a little blue, and again, every branch has got all 3 colors. So it does take a while. You just got to keep switching. So they blend together. Did you already finish that other page from Monday the Fish? Yes, I did, Vicki. I need to show you that. I did finish that page. Vicki's asked me if I finished the... I'll have to wait till I back out, though, because I'm so zoomed in, Vicki. But yes, I did. I haven't posted it anywhere yet. I haven't had time, but yeah. So this is what I'm going to do for the whole tree. And you can see how much tree there is. And you can see how long this can take. Okay, the marker, this is the marker here, so it's brighter. All right, now after I do the whole tree like this, if I want anything darker like that, I can go in with the marker and you know, get in some little crevices, some little shadowed area, or a darker shade of pencil. You know, I can get in there with a magenta for the pink, or I can get in there with the next shade of teal. And then again, if I think, well, it needs a little bit more orange right there, maybe a little orange there. And it's not really, it's a yellow orange. It's not really orange, it's not yellow. You can see it's a yellow orange. So, and so I'm just kind of going in and just looking at the whole thing and making sure there's lots of each color. Again, I think it needs a little bit more orange right there. Maybe just a little more pink right there. So you see how it's working out? Yeah, I did finish the fish page. Alright, so that's how I did so far how I've done all the tree, and that's how I'll continue. See how I'm just continuing going up into the hair, so to speak. The branches that turn into her hair. And just go back and forth where I think it needs more. It's not a pad. I'm not following any pattern. I'm just kind of just making sure that all 3 colors are in there. If I need a little bit more orange right there, let's pop a little on top. And just keep working. And then what I did is I went around everything with the white Posca, because I'm going to feather that out with pencil. Yeah, the fruit. And I'll do the same all in here. So I've got up to right there is where I stopped with the Posca so far, but it'll be all the way around every branch. Let me just go ahead and carry this up to this branch here, and then I'll do the Posca around that, and then I'll show you how I'm going to do the little fairies and around the feathering. Okay, so it needs a little bit more orange right in there, maybe a little bit right there. And yep, it does smell like Fruit Loops. So I just think it looks kind of cool to have all these like kind of non-related colors. I mean, they go, but you wouldn't think that they would all blend, you know? Like a 3 shades of an orange or 3 shades of a blue or whatever. They're totally different colors, but this is the look I wanted. Just to kind of have it all. So hopefully you can see. And then on her face, I just did a little bit, you know, I did her lips pink, her cheeks pink, and the inside of her ear pink. And then I just did some blue on her ear, and the same thing I'm doing on the tree, you know, but just, you know, on the face. Okay, so then let me take my white Posca and show you, like going up the branch here. Now I haven't finished going all the way up the branch as far as the pink and the blue in there, but then all I did is I just went all the way around the edge with the Posca, which will go right over the acrylic, because this is acrylic paint. The Poscas are acrylic paint in a pen. Just make sure you shake it up well, otherwise it's watery. Okay, got to shake it up well. And then also I went around inside the negative space of each space here inside the tree. And it does take a while, you know, you got to take your time. See the difference between that and that? You're kind of getting rid of the black line on the outer edge. Okay. All right, so then what I'm going to do is, let me do one of these fairies. And I haven't done one yet, so let's see if we can pull this off. What I want to do is I want to have a few little rays coming off the fairies here. Okay, something like that. And I'm going to have each one. So I'm going to go in there with pencil. You want them straight. I know, kind of a little crooked. Something like this. So I'm going to start with that. Now you have to have your background done before you do this, okay? I don't know if I said that. You want all your background done before you do this part, because you don't want to try to have to paint, you know, don't try to paint around this part. So get all your background done before you do this part. All right, now I got to make sure that's dry. It just takes a second, but you want to make sure that's dry, because if you go in there with your white pencil, you're just going to remove that. So make sure it's dry. It just takes a second. But wait a second, you know, till that's dry. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start making them glow. And see, they've got the white Posca all the way around them as well. The bright white, the Posca right there, the brightest lines, that will keep it really bright. And then you're feathering out with the white, and they're all just Prismacolor. Then you're feathering out with the white to give them a glow. Okay. Bye, Janet. Thanks, Terry. Have a safe trip if you're leaving. I don't think you're leaving till tomorrow, but she's probably getting ready. Okay, something like that. You see? So you go from this to this, like that. And you can kind of feather it out as much as you want. Now what I want to do is I want this tree to glow too. I'm not going to put any rays coming off the tree, because that's going to interfere and detract from the little fairies glowing. But I do want, now see I haven't finished, I didn't put any Posca here yet. I haven't gone around this tree yet. Hang on. I was kind of waiting to do all the pink and the blue and all that before I did the outlining, so I wouldn't get lost where I was going. But I'm going to go ahead and just do that edge there. And then what I want to do is, let me sharpen my pencil. And you could add a little bit of pink in there. If you wanted a little bit of orange glow, you could put a little bit of, let me get pink or a little bit of orange in there to even give it a little bit more glow if you want. Okay, what I want to do is I want to go around all this. So not very far, but very softly, I'm going to do the same kind of glow off the tree, but I'm not going to have any rays. I just want to feather it out real gently so it looks like she's glowing in the tree. See? And it's going to take, it takes a little bit of time. You got to kind of blend that in. So you're blending in the white Posca and feathering out the pencil. I bet you have an outage in your area. Oh, sorry, Steffi. And this part you really just want to go so gentle. I mean, I'm barely touching the page, guys. Just barely, you know, very lightly. But it's because of the paint you can do this. If you tried to do this, and I know I've shown you a bunch of times, if you tried to do this over pencil, it would not work. Where's that green? Where's that? Here. Okay, so here's where we painted a minute ago. We, did some green. Look, let's just say I had a green pencil and I colored this all in, the background with the pencil, which, you can color your whole background in with the pencil. Okay. Here's my white pencil. No matter how much I bear down on here, you can still see it, but it's, see how that is? Now, watch here. I'm barely going to touch. Look. See how you can go over? You can almost get it back to pure white. This is over pencil. This is over paint. When you add the glow, I don't think it really matters. It's a light touch. You need a sharp pencil to get into tight spaces. But it's not, you will need a pencil. You need it sharp to get into small spaces. But you're barely, no pressure. No pressure. And then you can feather it out as far as you want. But it's because of the acrylic paint that you can get this effect. It just won't work over pencil. I mean, you could do this kind of feathering if you wanted to just try to blend back and forth between green and white, green and white, green and white. But just to go on top like this, you have to have the paint underneath. Very gently. And you don't have to have the Posca pen. You can have a gel pen, or you don't even really have. You could outline it with your white pencil. It's just easier to get that nice bright white with the Posca pen. But you could do it with paint, or you know. All right, so let me do this little one down here. Oh, thanks, guys. I hope y'all get some, again, we're not going to finish this page, but you're getting ideas. I'm all about sharing ideas. You know, if you can get a new idea or a new technique or a different take on this, doing something a little different, you know, then that makes me happy to share that with you. Because to do full-on pages, y'all know how long that one's going to take. Alright, so then you can feather this out as far or as close as you want. This one's a little more glowy than that one. That one might be a little further away. And just take your time, but this is what I want to do around all the tree. I want it to have a white glow. Now, if you didn't want a white glow, let's say you wanted a yellow glow, personally, I would still do it with white and then go over it with yellow. Because the yellow is going to be a little, it won't be as bright as if you go over the white, you know, as if you went over the green. So, if you wanted this pink or yellow or a different color glow, I would still, no matter what color glow you wanted, put the white down first. And you could even go over it with Neocolor if you wanted. I would just go over it with pencil, but you could do a wash over it. But try different things and try it on a test sheet. I don't like Gamasol. I don't like oil stuff on my page. And I know that, you know, people say, well, even if it goes through, it dries and you don't see it. I just don't like it. I don't like the idea of oiling anything on my pages. Just like I don't like the touch of pastel or chalk. I just don't like even the idea of putting anything oily on my pages. That's just me. If you like doing it, and I've seen some, you know, people do it on their show on YouTube. Just, you know, Google it. But you're not gonna probably see. I mean, I think I've tried it once or something, but it's just not. For one thing, that's not something I can do sitting anywhere. You know, if I want to be able to pick up my book and go anywhere with it, even with a little palette of paint, I can. But I just don't. You know, you gotta kind of be sitting somewhere with your Gamasol or your, you know, oily stuff. Yeah, that's just not for me. Then not everything has to be for everybody. You know? So yeah, just kind of, that's how this whole thing is going to be. It's going to be like that. So you can see what goes from this to like this. And this has a little less, that has a little more. Just, you know, you do what you like. To give it that glow. And then if you want a closer like yellow or color right around her, like you can take your could even do it with the marker actually. Just put a little bit on there and kind of smudge it. Or take your yellow pencil and go over the yellow. It'll be bright. I don't even know if you can hardly see that, but I want to keep it subtle. See how bright the white is, and you put the yellow over it. It's still there, but it's not that vibrant white. So, just depends on the look you want. I don't want to lose my little white rays. Yeah. Okay, so something like that. Again, take your time. Take your time and feather out gently. You know. And I haven't gone all the way down this tree with the Posca yet. So, yeah. And then down here, all this is colored in. See how dark it is? To keep it dark, like right here and right here. I wanted the flowers and the berries to be nice and dark. So that's where I use the markers. Okay? I use the markers in here and the markers down here. So now when I go and do the pencil in here, these will stand out. So even if I'm putting blue against blue, you see it's still, these still are bright. And all this down here is going to be the same way. It's going to be just shading back and forth between the three colors. The teal pencil, the pink pencil, and then a little bit of the, wherever I need it to pop a little bit more yellow, I'll go in there with that. Oh, Jen, I'm sorry your baby's not feeling well today. It's fun to watch your show and hear him playing in the background, though. It's cute. So I'm just going to keep going back and forth, shading and blending. But you see how the marker is still standing out from the background? No, if these were bigger, I would probably shade over them. But they're fine. They're so tiny. They're so tiny, guys. You know, you could shade on them if you want. You know, I'm just thinking it's enough just to have them kind of colored in like this. So I'm just going back and forth between, because I want it to all be just all kind of flow together. No areas where it just kind of stops and start. And again, if you just think, oh, it needs a little bit more yellow in there, I'll just pop in a little bit more. Will the sharpeners work like, well, the Sharpies are alcohol based. They'll go through your page. These are water based. They're water based. They're not going to go through the page. See, don't go through it all. Even when I use them on thin paper, as long as you don't scrub them too much, you can even use this on your thinnest paper. But test it. I always say test it. But Sharpies are alcohol based and they will go through. I mean, you know, maybe this one's thicker. I still wouldn't trust any alcohol based markers on my color book pages. I mean, make a copy of it if you want to use alcohol based markers. make a copy of it on cardstock, and make sure your printer ink will allow, it won't blend. Because some printers ink, like my Epson's good for not bleeding the ink with alcohol, but some ink cartridges, some printer ink will smear when you use alcohol inks, alcohol markers. Okay, so like right here, I think I want a little bit more orange, just a little pop in there. And it's just going to take a while. You just keep working your way up. But this is the kind of stuff you just do when you want to chill, you want to just relax. You're not doing a show where you're recording. Have to speed up. No, yeah, I don't use blending pencils. I mean, nothing wrong with them if you do. I just don't. I like just to blend with pencils. Thank you, Vicki. Yeah. Because it's a light touch. That's the other thing, guys, is I can't ever, and I say it every time we color, you have to have a light touch, because once you get that waxy buildup, you can't blend anymore. I mean, you can hard pressure a layer on top, but you're not going to get any blending if you start bearing down. So, you know, just do light layers. Take your time. I'm going back and forth and blending a blue and a pink here. And then if I want some of the orange to stand out, I'll just go back over on top and pop in a couple little orange bits. See. And if this isn't dark enough for you, see how dark the colors are here. If that's not shaded enough for you, then you go in there with darker pencils and shade more. Like if you want it shaded even more under there, you can get in there with darker pencil. I wanted it this way. This is the look I'm going for on this particular piece. I want it very light and airy, like she's a tree fairy, right? But, you know, if you want to, I'm just going to try a marker here. Get in there and get a little darker shade. I'd probably just get in there with my finger and kind of maybe blend out a little. See how you can get some darker areas? I just don't want to lose the effect of these bright mushrooms and the bright flowers. So, you know, I might put a couple little areas, but I want to keep it very light. But if I went in here with the blue, just like I'm doing with the orange, the yellowy orange, to get a little bit more, so you can get in there with a little bit more. Just kind of feather it out with your finger. Something like that. Same thing with the pink. Get in here with a little darker pink. I just haven't got to that point yet where I'm going to stand back and look at it and say, well, does a little bit more need a little bit darker areas? Maybe. But this will be the final, that would be the final touch. So you got to do it in stages. See? Kind of get the idea. Oh, so I saw something about paper showing through. I missed all those questions. I missed them all, Prisma. Hi, by the way. Nothing is going through. Nothing is going through. This paper is extra thick in this book. If you're just joining us, we're working in Mythomorphia, if you will. Kirby's new book. And so, yeah, I'm just going to continue working down the tree here. If you want to ask your questions again, let me get a sip of coffee and ask your question again, and I'll... So, yeah, I'm just... Ask them in caps, so guys, so I don't miss them. And I still sometimes miss them. I hope Janet's going to be around for Survivor tonight. I don't know when she's heading out. An art boot camp? Well, I guess this is it right here. An art boot camp. This would be it. How to get rid of white space. This, if the paper's smooth, you just color it, and there is no white texture, if you will. If that's what you're asking, like the white texture. If this is a smooth paper, like a smooth cardstock, there is no white paper showing through. It's if you're using a texture-y paper, like how a watercolor paper is texture-y, then you got to do a lot more blending. I use a semi-textured paper on my portraits. The paper is not as smooth as like this, the brown paper that I do my portraits on, but I put so many layers. Yeah, and I always have, look, see, I always have some test paper next to you to, test things out on. Or it's best, if you can, to test in the actual book paper, because every paper in every book is different. And one might, a marker or something is fine on one, and you put it on a different page, and it's not the same. Button said that my art boot camp would start with you all rubber banding your pencils and getting your hands dirty. So true, Button. So you can see where we're going here, right? And again, if you want little extra dark areas, which I may, by the time I get completely done, I may want a little deeper shadows here and there. So again, see how the white is around here? That's how it's going to be around all of it. All the white outlines. But you got to do it gentle. Don't bear down. Just softly. See, this is when I say to myself, shh, 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 shh. Hey, Laura. Shh, shh, shh. Because you got to do it softly. Don't bear down. Okay, so we worked about an hour, I think, on this. Well, I did do a quick little flip. And I know some of y'all are asking me to work on some snow. I'll back out so you can see a full page. But, yeah, when I'm doing this close-up, I want y'all to be able to see the gentleness of it. You like the colors? Yeah. So, again, I haven't done anything on him except add some gray to his club there, but I haven't done anything here. So I'm going to back out. We'll readdress what we've done, and then I will maybe do a little bit on the snow scene. So yeah, I don't see any more questions, so I guess we're good. Thanks, Corinne. My coffee went cold. So I'll just keep, I'll just keep blending out. So it looks like she's kind of got a glow. And again, you get a pink or yellow or even blue glow. I just really like a white. And, if I do a fire, Fire Glow, I'll put orange in. But I'm just kind of liking the effect of this, you know, white against the green. So I just kind of want to keep it that, cause especially since I'm doing the pastel colors in her body. So yeah, all right, so I'm going to go ahead and back out here, guys. You can see how far zoomed in we were. Let me move my book now. Propping that up. So, brighten it back up a little. See if I can do the right light there. Okay. So yeah, now you can see now that you're farther away, you see the effect, the overall effect. Right? Although we can zoom in one more. So yeah, thanks guys. So that's where we're going with this, and you can see, I mean, it's a lot of detail in there. It's a lot of detail. Okay, now Vicki asked me about, let me go back over here to my Minuet de Bonheur. I don't know. We think of the dance of happiness. I think we decided something like that. I did finish the koi fish page. Let me move my coffee out of the way here. So I did finish this. See all the white ripples. So I did finish that page up. And actually I see, no, you know what? I did not finish it. I take that back. I still have to do the blue shading in those flowers. So see how it's got a little bit of blue shading in the flowers? I have not done that in these. I forgot that part. I got everything else done, but I got to go finish the little blue shading in those white flowers. But yeah. There you, that's Vicki asked to see that. And the only other page I've done in this book is this one and a border around here. So those are the only other pages I've done in that. You like the koi colors? Yeah, I like the koi colors too. So, yeah. Okay. So, oh, Laura. I don't know if Laura stepped away. Oh, Laura, if you're still here, you'll have to watch my recording to see this that Orla sent me. Just saying, I'm trying to enable you. This is a big, full, pull-out book of dragons. Look. I got to do a little enabling because Laura has enabled me a few times. Look. It's a whole pull-out book of dragons. Yes. Okay, moving on. All right, so now I'm going to, if you just wait 1 second, guys, I'm just going to run down and get some hot coffee. I'm not going to start another well, maybe I should. Maybe I should. Nah, I think we still got another hour here. We can do another hour and make it all one thing because we're working in the same book. Okay. So I'll just leave this here for a second. I'm going to run down and get some coffee. And then I'm going to work on this snow scene, which again, the light, see I need to tilt it just enough for the light not to be too bright on it. Maybe if I just prop it back up on my journal, I think. That's okay there. Oh, you have that book in your cart. Oh my gosh. And my page is it's a little bit, it's not wrinkled, but you got to kind of bend it back a little because that is all paint on there. So I'm just going to kind of flip the edges back a little. Just kind of work with it a little bit, and it goes back flat. But we'll do this page, okay? So, well, I say we're going to do this page. We're going to start this page. Did you ever finish the green and purple? Yes, I did. I did finish that purple, green and purple. Let me show you that. It's in my color book. It's in my 3-ring binder. Let me pull that out for you. Somebody asked if I finished the green and purple. I think it's in here. Let's just take a peek. Let's take a look-see here. It was, who was it that did that? I have it written on the back. Wait, did I tear it out? Let me see if did I put it in the book? I know I finished it, but I'm not sure I tore it. Did I tear it out of the book? I'm thinking I did. There's my jasmines. Here it is. Okay. We're talking about this one. This is the Dreams of Dragon by Ravine. There's her name. It's just what I wrote on the back. It's in the Dreams of Dragons by Ravine Felon. I don't know how you pronounce it, but this one. Yeah. Yeah. And it's all stickled up. It's all glittered. So yeah. Did finish that. This is the one you mean, right? Okay. All right, so let me go. Is that the one you meant? I also did finish this one. This one is the Gothic Special by Selena Finich. This one, I did finish that one as well. You can see I have some glitter and shiny bits around her. I did finish that one. And again, added the little glow coming off her hand. So yeah, I did finish both those. They're in my book. All right, let me go over and get some coffee, guys. Take a quick break, and then we'll. I want to start a snow scene, and I think we will start. We'll do this with Neocolor 2 water-soluble crayons. I'm sliding. I don't want to put these pencils away because I'm still using them, right? All right. So let me just move everything, shove it to the side here. And, yeah, I'll get, let me go run downstairs and get some coffee. And, again, the pages are thick in this book, so it's hard to get it to lay flat because the paper's thicker, right? And it just, the spine won't snap. But, anyway. Okay, I'll be right back, guys. Give me just a minute. Okay. Quick break. Hot coffee. Pick up this color book so I'll trip over it. Alright. Somebody tweeting me here while I was gone. Alright, any questions, guys, before we get crack-a-lacking? Alright, let me get out some Neo colors. And I know y'all see me use them a bunch of times. I have the Neo color too. And I've had this set. Hubster got this, I think it's going on close to 4 years now. And they just last forever, guys. They do. They last forever. So I got the double tray here. And you can use the tray here for like mixing too. Say you can use that for mixing, or if you just want a watered down. Let me get find my brush here. If you want watered down, so you can just use the porcelain of the tray, the tin, to get a bit of it. You can do that. So I'm just going to set my set right next to me. I'll tell you what colors I use. I need a Kleenex to clean my brush. Oh, last Kleenex in that box. To clean my brush as I go. Okay. How do you get your acrylic background so smooth looking? You might need it depending on the paint. Okay, it's going to depend on your paint. It's going to depend on how thick you put it on, and don't add any water. No water on your backgrounds. If you want it to be a flat color. Now, of course, if you want a watercolor look, then you water it down, and that's what I call an acrylic wash. But if you want it flat, you gotta, I use Americana craft paint, which is nice and thick, but certain colors, like lime green, some reds, they might take a couple coats. You might need a couple coats. Hello, Lori. Yeah, I'll try to remember. I have my some colors are hard to read. I have my little magnifying glass here. All right. So, I do have it propped up on my journal just to keep the flash, keep the glare off a little. Hopefully we're focused well enough and you can see. Now again, we are not going to finish this today. Okay, just like we didn't finish this one today, all right? But I like working on different pages for a little bit at a time and coming back and forth to them. But if you do that, it's best, guys, really, keep a Post-it note. Keep a Post-it note in your book. Keep a Post-it note on that page of what colors you're using. If you think you're going to forget, and trust me, if you're doing 10 different colors, or 10 different pages at once, you're going to forget what colors you used on which pages. Dee, are there days that you don't feel like arting? Any suggestions on how to get past it? Okay. I've kind of answered this before. It depends on what it is. Sometimes I'm just kind of tired of coloring. I know it's hard to believe, but I have so many different things I'm working on. Remember, I'm a portrait artist. I do portrait commissions. And those come first. So if someone hires me to do something, I still do my stream Monday and Wednesday, but off camera, those come first. And I might work, a full day, 8 hours on one at a time, but I'm always sitting in here doing something. Or if I'm watching TV with Hubster, I've got a sketchbook or some color book or something going on. I'm pretty much always arting. I think that there's a couple different things about like art, if you call it art block or just not feel like arting. There's a few things that come into play. Let me have a sip of coffee. One, if you are sick, if you are not feeling well, if you have arthritis in your hands, if you, something like that, you physically just can't do it sometimes. If you got the flu, it's just like any other job. You can't, you're sick. You can't work that day, right? But if you have the skill and you're not sick, if you have a skill, like for instance, when I do my portraits, I know how to do them. I know what shades, what colors, what to do. Now, of course, everyone's a little different, but it's like a color book page. Do you forget how to color? No. You can still develop those skills, but it's not like do you need inspiration to sit down and color in a color book? Probably not. Well, see, that's the same way I am about when I'm drawing, sketching, painting a koi fish, doing a portrait. It's something I already know how to do. I can get better at it. I can learn new techniques and new skills, but you don't forget how to do it. Now you might get a little rusty, just like calligraphy. I don't do calligraphy professionally anymore, so my steady hand of doing calligraphy, that skill has waned. Could I get it back if I wanted to practice and get back at it? Yes. Now, the other thing about what people think of as art block, sometimes they think, I just don't know what to draw. Well, that's why we have our idea notebooks. You'll never, and I've said it a whole bunch of times, you'll never run out of things to draw if you write down what things you want to draw, or combination of things, or ideas of things. When you get your ideas, no, I don't want a coffee maker in my art room because my exercise is running up and down those stairs all day, Diane. Now, if you are let's just say you have a job as an illustrator for a company, and the company says, an advertisement. We have, Coca-Cola needs a new advertisement for, young people, and we want it hip. That's going to take more thought. It's going to take more, but again, it can be a skill. Creativity can be a skill to be developed. To think up from scratch ideas. That's why I tell y'all to make your list of combinations, like people, places, and things, or all your different lists to pick from, and then pick one from one list and one from the other and try to combine them. Those kind of skills, mind mapping, listing, and all the different things that we've talked about on creating creative ideas and writing them down, those can be developed the more you use them. So can I just wake up any morning and just develop a whole new ad campaign for Coca-Cola? No. But could I get up any day, as long as I'm not sick, and draw a portrait? Yes. So there's kind of a differentiation between coming up with a fresh, brand new idea and just using skills. Okay? Does that make sense? I hope that kind of makes sense. I hope. But we're always growing. We're always growing and getting better at things. And that's one of the things I love about color books. Color books, I don't care what anybody says, about them. That's, and we don't hear it in our group because we all know how much fun we have and how much we learn from them. But color books, you're learning color combinations, color skills, shading techniques. You're learning so much just by practicing in a color book, Okay, so now I want this to be a snow scene, and I'm going to do it probably with shades of purples, maybe some deep, I don't know yet. So that's why we're going to get out a practice something here. Oh, that's kind of a shiny paper. I don't want that. Let's get another piece of cardstock here, a paper, to put scratch paper on. Dig out a sheet. All right. Get some scratch paper to see what colors. Okay, all right, so I know I'm going to want, I'm going to do a kind of maybe a sunset, might be a sunrise, sunset. I'm thinking more like a sunset color because we got Yeti coming out. So now I'm going to want some purples. Now the sun I will probably want You know, maybe a little bit of yellow in. I'm just picking out some colors here just to test. I know, you just learn so much, right? From the color books, because, I mean, just look at this. We're practicing some sunsets, and we're going to do it in a color book. All right, then, and I think I got a little bit of water in here. I want, you know, a couple shades of like some purple. That may be, maybe I need a little bit more on the rosy. So let's see which one of these two do I like better. I think I'm going to like that one. Okay, I'm going to like that one better for the sky, which was this one. And I'll tell you the colors in a minute, Laura, or anybody else. And then this one, I'm thinking this might be, it's so similar, it's probably not enough differentiation. Maybe some purple, like this color, and then a blue. And that's one of the things I do notice about this set. They don't have enough blues for me. That one's kind of a good purpley blue. We're going to go with those. Was that enough lavendery color? Is that enough? Let me test this blue too. Maybe. I think I might need that one and that one. Okay, so I'm going to go with these colors for now. Not that that may not be the only ones. Hey, now. Okay, so let's see. So I'm going to tell you the colors I'm going to use. All right. We're going to start with the sky. I got goldenrod. Move this out of the way. Got to make space. And then the two blue colors that I have here are sky blue, and this is black writing on blue, so let's see if I can see that color name. Royal blue? Yeah, I think it's royal blue. Yeah, royal blue. And then for the two purples, I got, again, black writing on dark paper. Get up here under the light. Where's the color on this one? Where's the color? Oh, violet. Violet purple is this one. And then this is probably just violet. And that's just violet. See, look, it's got white letters. Why can't they just all have white letters on dark? All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to imagine, let's just imagine the sun's right here. Okay? So, and I'm going to go ahead and just, I am going to color some directly on here, because I do want it kind of pigmented. Most of the time when I'm using, I just pull it right off of, and you can do it this way too. Just pull it right off the, and I'm going to be backed away so you can see the double page spread for a minute. You can just pull it off like this and do it, but I want it kind of more pigmented at the moment. So I'm going to go ahead and put some yellow down. All right, here's the other thing about these snowflakes. I'm going to totally ignore the snowflakes, because I can put that back over with white splotches of paint or Posca. So, and some of them will probably show through, and I actually don't like that they're black circles, because it kind of doesn't look like snowflakes if they're black. So I may end up even going over all these snowflakes with white Posca at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? Because I want them to be white. So I'm just going to add a little bit here. And again, one of the nice things about when you paint is you can get down there in the ditch, right? You can get down in the ditch of the book. All right, so I'm going to go with that. Then I'm going to add some of the, which one was it? I'm going to forget which ones I can't tell you every time I use one. Y'all going to have to remember. Because I can't do this each time I pick up a color. Violet purple. Okay, and so I'm going to want to just kind of and it's going to come all the way across. Maybe a little bit of yellow might come just a little bit of behind these two mountains, just a little. Okay. And I'm just going to carry it over like a full-on sunset. And then I think I'll go with just a tiny bit of the darker violet. Just one little quiet little bit of streak of that. And then I'm going into the darker blue. All right. And this is not an exact science here, you know. Just a touch would show. This might need where'd my yellow go? I might need a little bit more yellow here. Okay, and then the darkest blue. And again, we're going to need to put some cardstock behind here because you don't want to get your pages all wet, right? All right, so those are the colors and that so far. And we can always add more, but this is what I'm starting with. Now, let's get some paper here. Or I actually want a piece of cardstock. I need another one too. There's one. Let me get another cardstock. And put behind here. I do have the book a little propped up, about an inch, to keep the glare off. All right, sip of coffee, and we'll start blending the sky in. And I'm going to work my way up. And I'm going to keep a Kleenex so I can keep cleaning my brush off as I need to. All right, so we're going to have, there's going to be like a glow back here where the sunset's actually going down. All right, so I'm just going to and I'm not squeezing out any water. I'm just letting the brush flow, and this is just a Pentel water brush, which looks like, let me get some water in it. Hang on, guys. And I'll keep cleaning off my brush as it picks up pigment, because I want to blend all this together to look like a sunset. So there's a little bit of the purple right here on the edge. And I probably need just a little purple here and just a little purple there. Oh, okay. Well, I'm kind of far away, Laura. All right, so I'm just starting. And again, if you think you need to blend more or add more layers, dry in between. Even though this paper is a little thicker than most of his, than his other books, you want it to be, it's the water that pills your paper, tears your paper, and makes your paper saturated and go through, okay? So now I'm just going to start and I want to keep it kind of going horizontal here. If I don't get enough pigment, I'll go back with more. But let it dry and keep it kind of horizontal, because that will look more like a sunset, just kind of like waves on the ocean. You got to keep it horizontal, and I'm not worried anything about the snowflakes. I'm just really ignoring the snowflakes, and I'm just taking my time and blending right across, because I'll go back over those with white paint probably. Okay, it needs a little bit more pigment. I'll just pick some up off the brush to get right next to that mountain there. Okay, and again, I might have to go back, and pick up a little extra right here on some of these edges where it's touching the mountain, because I didn't get the pigment right up on the mountain. All right, so let's just go ahead and keep working right across. Might need a little bit more of the light blue in there, just to fill in. And again, I got black paper there, but still be careful so that the water doesn't seep up around your page. I'm not squeezing the brush. If you want to squeeze the brush, come over to your Kleenex and kind of get it going, you know. Don't squeeze it on the paper. You don't want it that wet. So I just kind of want this kind of to look like a sunset here. And again, if this isn't going to be dark enough at the end of it, I'll add another layer. All right, let's clean off the brush because I'm coming back down here in the yellow. And I want to keep that real pure, although I have a little bit of blue right in there, purple, just to kind of streak it in. This is white. I'm leaving that white right in there. Clean the brush because I touched the purple. So I want to get back into the yellow and keep the brush really clean. Get right there in the ditch. Clean the brush before you go back into the yellow. Clean the brush. Move the thing off the edge here. Okay. Need a little bit more purple down in here. Kind of ran out of pigment. And if I need a little more, I can just pick it off here. Alright, so now that I got the base coat colors down, again, I want this to dry. Okay, so I'm going to dry it, and then I can add some more. If you touch it and it's cold, that means it's wet. Alright, so I'm going to get my heat gun here and just dry this. Alright, now I'm going to pick up the brush and the colors, and I'm going to start adding some more pigment. While, you know, now that it's dry, like maybe close up to the mountains here, and just start doing like a night's, you know, like a sunset. And I'll keep adding until I get it as pigmented as I want. But remember, don't oversaturate. If it starts, like if you're starting to have to add lots and lots of layers, dry in between. Because that's what pills your paper and will put a hole right through. Okay. Oh, it looks good? Okay, thanks guys. Like the sky. Alright. Yeah, I love me some Neos. Alright, now I'm going back to the kind of raspberry purple. It's called, I think it's violet, red violet. Well, I don't know. See? I can't remember the name. I never really pay attention. Purple violet. Unless y'all ask, you know. So, now I'm going to darken up the purple violet a little. Again, I'm not squeezing out any excess water here. Just kind of streaking the sky with the pigment. I'm going to put a few like streaks like that. Might be a little bit coming out on the other side of this mountain. So if you want to squeeze out any excess water, squeeze it while you're doing the brush. But again, you probably don't want to flick right over your page because you can flick your paint right onto your page. I've done that. So, all right. So adding another layer of the red, well, the purple, the kind of red violet. And just carry that all the way across. I'm not watching too. Make sure you put chat in caps because I'm kind of concentrating. Because when you're doing watercolor, you really got to pay attention to your edges, and it's hard to stop and then look at chat, and then you've lost your wet edge. You know, you got to kind of keep moving with watercolor. All right, so I think I'm liking that. Might need, I think I'll put a couple of darker blue. All right, so now I'm going to go with the dark blue. And I'm going to get a little bit of that down right in here because I'm starting to get, this side's going to be darker on the edges. The sky will be darker on the edges and bright right here in the middle. And these are the same colors I'm going to use for the snow. These purples. I can see this is starting to pill a little right here. See, I should have dried this before putting this next layer on. So yeah, gotta watch that, gotta dry. Okay, so now I'm gonna add a nice dark layer at the very top. How do you think pencil goes on top of marker? It goes on top of it okay, but it's not, doesn't give you tooth. Marker doesn't give you tooth like paint, like acrylic paint does. Watercolor gives you a little bit of tooth. Acrylic paint gives you a lot of tooth. Markers don't give you any tooth. Just gotta test. Every paper is different too, guys. Every paper is different. Okay, so I'm kind of liking that sky like that. Might need a little bit more of the red violet right in here. Because I want to keep the sunset right in here. Now I really need to let this dry if I want to add any more layers because I'll start peeling my paper. But you can start to see how we're getting a nice sunset there. And you could use watercolors like this, guys. You just have to mix, you know, mix your own colors. It's just, neo colors are so easy. All right, let me dry. Alright, now I think I want to add a little bit more. I'm going to go back in here with a little more yellow. Brighten it up. Because this is where the sun's going down behind that mountain there. I think that's good. Maybe just a little right here. Okay, now I want this to be very, very dark. So I'm going to go ahead and add one more. And a little bit maybe right in behind here. And I'm getting a little bit on the trees, but I'm not really worried about it. But you can be more careful if you're, touch the trees with some purple. It's okay. Take as much time as you need. Again, Kind of hurrying a little bit faster here. All right. There we go. All right, now I'm going to go back a little bit more of the red purple. Just a little. Again, I probably should dry in between. You see, I'm just building it up, just like you do watercolor. Yeah, y'all talking about clamps for your phones to do streaming? I got one of those. I'll show you. I just use my phone. I mean my webcam. But yeah, let me show you. I got this one here. One of these. It's got a clamp, and you can, put your phone in there like that. Let me show you. See, like this. And you can clamp it to your table or something. And there you go. Like that. Turn the phone off. And this is real sturdy, and it's really hard to bend, so it's real sturdy. But yeah. If you're just looking for something, to use your phone with, you can clamp it to your table. Put your phone there. I think I got this one for $5 at Five and Below. So yeah. And you can get heavy duty ones too. Alright, so there we go. I think we got the sky. What do y'all think? Maybe it needs just a little more yellow right there. I want to keep it real light right there though. There we go. At Five and Below, you can get them at you can get them everywhere, trust me. Amazon, you can get everything, of course. But I think I paid $5 at Amazon. I mean at Five and Below. Okay. Yeah, cool clampy thing. Yeah. All right. So now let's start on the mountains and the And I will put some snow in here in a little. This is still wet. I want to make sure it's all nice and dry. Hey, Barb W. All right, so now let's just imagine that the sun's going down behind the mountains. So it's going to be a little darker here. Now, it might be lighter down in here because the sun might still be shining over here. But this side of the mountains are going to probably be pretty dark because the sun's going behind them. And maybe a little bit of the glow is like still shining down here. But these are going to be dark. So I'm going to start with the snow. And we can always add white. We can always paint more white on. We can always use acrylic paint. We can use our Posca. So I'm never afraid to lose the white because I'm not afraid to just paint right back over it, right? Anyway, so I'm going to take the sky, I think it was sky blue, baby blue, sky blue, and I'm going to paint all the snow. All the snow is going to be this sky, it's kind of a purpley blue, okay? Going to paint all the snow caps, the snow caps. Because remember, this is going to be on the dark side of, for me. Now you can do whatever you want, you don't have to have yours in the dark, but I want it to kind of stand out. So maybe a little snow comes down this way too, but, and again, if you start to oversaturate, you're going to start peeling your paper, so it's best not to squeeze out any water and also dry in between layers. Okay, so this is all the snow. And the blue is, it's called sky blue, but it's lavender, guys. It's kind of lavender. It's called sky blue, Laura, but it looks lavender. Just like it looks on camera right there, it does. It's that color. It's a purple. Even though they're calling it sky blue. Oh, wait. I spoke to a customer service for Amazon. He asked if he could help me with, and I mentioned Amazon addiction. He said he works there, so he knows. I guess it would be hard to work there, wouldn't it? I don't know. I guess it depends on what department. If you actually saw the stuff or what. Okay, I'm getting in a little crevice there. All right. But here's the thing, guys. I've never painted this page before. I don't, it may or may not, we may or may not pull this off. But you can't be afraid. And I know Laura buys 2 books and all that. You just can't be afraid of it. You're the boss of your color book. If you mess it up, if you want to buy another book, I don't look at it that way. I look at it like I learned something. I learned what not to do, or I learned something cool on a color combination, but if you're afraid to do this, you won't do it. I'm just saying, you can't be afraid. All right, so I'm doing all the snow caps here. And even just look, pull some down there. It doesn't have to go right where the line is. Make some snow where you want it. All right, and that's the first layer. I can darken that up. But again, yeah, it is. It's like a periwinkle. That's the color. Like a periwinkle. Exactly, Palm. All right, so now I'm going to clean my brush off and just think for a second. Now remember, I want these mountains to be in shadow. So now I think I'm going to go with let's test this out here, how dark that is. Yeah, maybe even a combination of the two. Do I want a little bit of purple and a little bit of blue? Yeah, I think so. So I'm going to use both the dark purple and the dark blue. And I'm probably going to go from, mountain to mountain. And it may take 2 coats because I think that's probably what I should do. I'm going to take the purple first, which is violet, and I'm going to do all the mountains in violet. Then I'm going to go back and add some more. Seriously, we all know you won't mess up a page. I don't know. I've messed them up before. But I try to make something out of it, right? All right, so I'm going to, now I'm going to be adding a lot of water here. I'm not squeezing the brush, though. I'm not squeezing the brush. But it is going to be saturating a big area. So try not to be scrubbing in one area and peel your paper. Just get one nice light coat on, dry it, and then add another coat. Okay, so I think I'm going to go with a purple on here. Again, I'm not really worried. I'm getting a little bit on those trees. I'm not really freaking out about that. All right, so I want this mountain right here in the front to be a light purple at first, and we'll go in and shade. But remember, you don't want to pill. I know I say it over and over. I know I repeat myself. Don't email me. Purple Mountain Majesty. There you go. Because the thing is these mountains would be dark on this side if the sun's going down behind them. Now some of that light will be reflected down here in the open areas, but the back side of these mountains would be dark. And again, you don't have to do this in watercolor. You could do it in pencil. It just take longer. A lot longer, but Oh, I gotta check my time. Okay, I'm at 2. So I got about 40 more minutes before our time runs out. I mean, I can do another part, and I don't know if Joyce is streaming today. I never know till the last minute. But we have about 2 hours and 45 minutes. It seems to be about maybe 2 hours and 50 minutes in one recorded session before you have to start another recording. So. And it will buckle your paper a little bit. Not this book as much as, um, not this one as much as Anamorphia and Mythomorphia. Those papers are thinner, but it might warp it a little. But again, if you're not sure, uh, test on a back sheet. Have a back page to practice on to see how wet you can get it, or how, what goes through and what doesn't. And see, it does take a while. And this is just the first layer. Good. You have a huge I get these itchies to create mixed media or color books, but I never touch them because I don't want to mess them up. Then make a copy. Make a copy and practice on a copy. Then who cares if you mess it up? You'll learn on the copy. No tweet from Joyce yet. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Suzanne. And really, I should be going with the grain, I mean, like the flow of the snow to keep the strokes going the way. But I know that this is just the first layer, so I'm not really overthinking it. Very cool. So, and you know what though, Vicky, and you are way overcritical. I mean, I've seen your mandala coloring, and oh my gosh, you are way overcritical of yourself. Just saying. So, oh, okay. So you don't feel like in coloring you don't take it so serious. So it does. It's always beautiful. Your coloring is awesome. Vicky, your mandalas. And see, I don't have the patience for those. For patterns, for doing pattern coloring, whether it's a mandala or any of the pattern types, but oh, and speaking of pattern types, have y'all seen what our Carrie is doing with drawing designs? Oh my gosh, they're awesome. And I know she's still with her family, so she's not here and on streams. But oh my gosh, you mess up, you just go to another page. There you go. Yeah. So I'm just getting the purple on here now. Then I'm going to dry it, and then I'm going to add some more darks. Because I want this pretty dark. I want these mountains pretty dark, like they're in shadow. I can happy color and pattern if it was one that you drew. Oh, you can do ones that you've drawn. Yeah. I guess I just think I want it to be something. And it's not enough something for me. Again, guys, this is just the first layer. Just getting some color down. You gotta, you know, Paula says work through the uglies. You gotta get the base down. It's a little bit of purple back behind those trees. Somewhere there. Okay, I'm just looking it over. See if I got it all. All right. I'm curious, how will you color the birds? I don't know. Maybe they'll just be blackbirds. All right, let me draw it. I haven't thought about it yet. I don't have to necessarily know every single thing before I do it. And you can also, when I'm going to do white snow, then you can also put stickles on it to make it twinkle. I'm going to try to at least have this part done here. We probably won't get to this part today, okay? But I want to get this and the snow done up here. I'm going to try. And then we'll work on the trees and everything else later. She is doing cool things, isn't she? I know. Our Carrie is. It's completely okay. She's talking to someone else. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to go back in with some darker. Okay. And I'm going to start adding a little bit of dark where some of the, on the snow here. You know what I think? Do I want that on the bottom? I think I better go with, let's see. I might have to go with the darker purple. I might just blend them both to kind of have a dark purple blue, but I want the mountain to be dark, very dark, with just a little bit of light. So I'm just going to kind of, can y'all kind of see that? Then I'll clean off the excess and just kind of feather it out, just like you would a watercolor. Something like that. See? And I think I'll just go back and forth between the two. So it's still got purple, but it's also got the blue. So I'm just kind of following the crevices that are there by Kirby. Again, though, just be careful not to oversaturate. I'm not squeezing the brush. Not squeezing the brush. Go with a little more purple. And if you need it even darker, wait and dry it, and then add another layer. It is watercolor, so you got to layer it just like you would a watercolor painting, because that's what you're doing here. You're doing a watercolor painting. Get a little purple, and I'm just kind of going back and forth between the purple and the blue. And you can start being a little bit more fussy, you know, around the trees and whatever. Although they're going to have snow color purples and stuff in them as well. Okay. Yeah. But I want to get the mountains and the snow on them for you guys. And I got 30 minutes to do it. So I just painted right over those snowflakes, because I'm just going to paint those in. Okay. carry that one down. Carry another dark blue down here. I even want it darker in some areas, but I gotta let that dry. Okay, I don't want to oversaturate, so I got to be careful. Oh, I started coloring to learn, to communicate, to commune, to give a feel. Art and life was not proven stuff. Yeah, it's, I said it before, you got to just get over yourself. I don't mean you personally, but I mean all of us. You got to just kind of get over yourself and just, like, I don't know. We stress too much about stupid stuff. Not that coloring's stupid, I don't mean that. But we stress over things that are like, what? Why are we stressing over that? It's looking pretty. Yeah, it does look good, doesn't it, with the Neos? And again, you could just use watercolor. You could even do watered down acrylic paint. The extra care you have to take with Neo colors, though, or watercolor, is the water. Because it's not the color that's going to ruin your page or go through your page. It's the water. That's why you got to dry in between. Okay. Need to put that in a quote. But also the thing about watercolor, if you're very perfectionistic in your coloring, this will freak you out. I'm just saying, because it won't be perfect. It won't be exactly what you think it's going to be. Watercolor never is. So, if you want everything just so in your color book, you probably need to practice your Neo color. Thanks, Vicki. You need to practice your Neo color on a piece of cardstock or something, because it's very free. It's not. It goes where it wants to go. I mean, you're controlling it to a certain extent, but it's water. It is water. And if you want a line to be exact and perfect, right where you think you want it, and it's going to freak you out that it doesn't, then definitely practice on something else, not your color book, because it's not going to be exact. It's not going to be perfect. Yeah, well, that's why you got to move forward, Kenny. My sister has a saying that she said, anything that happened to you in childhood or anything like that, she says, the dysfunction stops here. You just gotta move forward. Okay, so there we go. Got that started there. Let's go back over here. And I do have a fan blowing on me and blowing on this page, so it is kind of, drying it as I go, but I will still take a heat gun to it before I add another layer. Yeah, and you can go over this you can add more with pencil. This can just be a base, and it will be in other areas. It doesn't have to be the final thing. This can just be a base with, that you're going to add pencils to. We always add color pencil. Seems like we do anyway. All right, now I'm going to clean my brush off real quick, and let's go ahead and dry it. And it is buckling just a little, but again, these pages are pretty thick. And so, but if any kind of wrinkling or buckling bothers you, I would recommend not using any kind of watercolor in your pages. All right, now I'm going to go back with a little bit purple, and I'm going to start adding another layer over some of the blue and just make it a little bit more, another layer. And again, if you want to do some more with pencil, I'm just having fun with the Neo color, so I'm rolling with it. It does need a little bit darker under the snow shadow there. So you see how I'm just building up the layers of color? Just because it is watercolor. These are pigment, they're watercolors, so. And you're technically not working on watercolor paper, right? At the best, it's heavy cardstock. Bye, Marilyn. Sleep well. Thanks for helping out and modding and all that you do over on my YouTube channel as well. You're the best. Artsy Marilyn's like my YouTube mod. Okay, so can y'all see how that's kind of just layering it up? But be very conscious of how wet your paper is. Again, I'm not squeezing out any water at all. But to show you the snow, I have to finish this because that's like the icing on the cake, right? The snow flakes. In case you was a D, Joycey's not streaming. She said no voice. Oh my gosh, that girl. I hope she's going to the doctor on that her voice. That's all I'm saying. You know? She keeps losing her voice. I hope she's getting that checked. Okay, let's go back to this back one here. And I could go in here with color pencil and darken some of this, but like I said, I'm just having fun with it now. So I'm rolling with the Neos. But if you're afraid you're going to oversaturate or, anything like that, then go back in here with color pencil and add all these deep, dark, dark purples. on top of the mountains. Okay. This, I want a little darker right in here. There we go. That's what I'm looking for right there. So y'all think it's looking good? I'm liking it. But it does take many layers when you use watercolor. And I want them very dark. Thanks, Mac. Have a good day. Hey, Sherry. I didn't even see you up there. Are you back? Is Pita Fest over? I saw some of the pictures of you and Annette and Elvis. How was it? Tell us about Pita Fest, Sherry. We need details. Talk, Missy, talk. Some of the girls went to Vegas with the Kathy Orta group, and they call it Pita Fest. And Sherry was one of the hostesses for that. Yeah, see, the sky looks not as bright now, right? Because of the dark blue mountains. Thanks, guys. I'm glad y'all are liking it. I hope, if you're not brave enough to try it in your color book, I hope you'll at least, print out a section to practice on. And you'll decide whether you like using, watercolors in your books or not with a little bit of a practice sheet. And I even want to get back in here now with my light sky blue, which is like periwinkle, and even darken up some of the snow. Some of the snow caps, you could kind of get a little bit more layers of that up in there before we add any light color, white. Hey, Onion Girl. I mean, Orion's girl. Onion Girl. Orion's girl. That would be a nickname I would end up giving you. You could have done without Elvis. Yeah, was it you, Sherry, that posted that little 30-second video on Facebook? Oh my gosh, that was hilarious. Uh-oh, Sherry said there was some 7/16 inch measurements. There's a running joke around here about measuring. Good one, Sherry. Okay, so what do y'all think? We're getting there again. It's a lot of layers. That's wet right there. I got to dry this. Yeah, Yeah, I got it's 2 hours and 17 minutes, so I got probably 20 more minutes. Yeah, on this segment. Yeah. I just got home from Vegas, took daughter there to a big church. Yes, I know. My granddaughter Kaymore goes to Florida for all this, and she did get a summit bid in their group. So they will be going to the Florida uh, main competition, the big one at Epcot Center or whatever it is, down there in Disney. Okay, so I think I could still add some more, but I'm gonna have to stop at some point to do the snow. But I almost want just a little bit more dark down here in the tree line. So let's see. I think I'm gonna just do one more wash down here in the tree line before I start with the snow. And really, technically, guys, I wouldn't do the snow till the very end, until I finished everything. But I want y'all to see it, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. Even if I have to paint over it at some point and then add more do the snow again, it's okay, Alright, so I'm going to just do another coat of the purple down toward the bottom here. Just to add, every layer adds more depth, right? And I'm only using actually 3 colors all total on the mountains. Really these 3. What is it? Violet. Violet. I think this is purple. Violet. I wish they wouldn't print black lettering on dark blue. What was that? Dang, I can't even find it now. Well, there it is. Blue violet. Blue violet, violet, and sky blue, which is actually a periwinkle. And so those are the only colors I'm really using for the mountains. Alright, so let me get down here in this tree line one more time. So yeah, I think I'll just finish this up and we'll call it a day. If you have any questions, ask now before I run out of time. And I did do another little segment, with showing my Happy Mail and my color books and the dragon book that Orla sent. And so that's a separate video, so this will be, the second one today. Just going to kind of pull some of that purple in there. And again, we can always go in here. Oh, thanks, Kenny, and happy birthday again, by the way, to you and Marie and Linda White Holloway, as we call her, art unit. So I don't know if anybody else wants to stream after this. Y'all can start trick-or-heading somebody, since Joycey's not streaming. See who y'all can finagle into streaming. We love doing that. Okay, so I really seriously could add another layer of purple. But you can see where it's going, I think. I think we're getting the idea, right? So you could just keep adding more purple. And I could always could get in there with pencil. But you see how the blue just that one or two shade layers of the light blue, the sky blue, the periwinkle on the snow, and then it just makes the background. You thought you had messed up back when you started, but this should do that. Well, and again, you know, I could keep going. Seriously, I could add more purples in here and make it even a richer purple. But I want to do some snow for you on here, and maybe a little bit of stickles. Okay, so I'll stop. Let me hit it with the heat gun and dry it. And I'm going to do two things for the snow. I'm going to get some white acrylic paint, and I'll probably do some details with my Posca. I don't even know where it went now. Shoved everything to the side. Here it is. All right, so let me just get out some white acrylic paint. I'm just going to squeeze out a little. I think I didn't close the lid. There you go. All right, that should be enough. And I'm going to add some water to it and get a brush. Get something kind of floppy here. You want a brush that has loose hairs, just really that'll flop. Because you want to water this down. Okay. And now let me move some stuff out of the way because I don't want this on my journal, which I'm using to prop up so it doesn't flash out, because there's the color there. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a little bit more water and just get watered down acrylic paint, and then I'm going to kind of just, I don't want it on my computer either. So I'm just going to kind of guide it. If you get too much blobbies, just kind of wipe it back and just kind of start again. Because I don't want this on my computer. And then what I'm going to do, wherever there's black dots from the Kirby's drawing, I will go over that with a Posca, so I don't have black snowflakes. And now let me dry this. Hang on. And I'll hold it up closer. Or I'll zoom in. Hang on, guys. Yeah, you can't use glossy paint. Pencil won't stick to it. That's why I like my craft paints. And I like Americana. I like the colors. I like the coverage. But any kind of craft paint, as long as it's not satin or gloss. All right, now let me move some of this stuff out of the way and zoom in. Okay, let's see if we're focused still. I think we're good. All right, so can you see the snow? Now you still see the black? That's from the drawing, and I don't want that there. So that's where I'm going to take my Poscas, especially these big snowflakes, and I'm going to just get rid of the black. And again, if you wanted to, you could even do the kind of a glow around some of those, like we did on the, let's make sure it's shook up here. Oops. Oh, I got something on there. Hang on, guys. There we go. So any place I see a dark black dot, I'll go over that. I think this one might be running out. There we go. This one might be running out. You like it? Thanks, Laura. That's nice. Thank you. And I'll do a couple twinkles around some of these bigger snowflakes in a minute. Just got to go in here and find them all. Because there's quite a few of them, and they're black, and I don't want black snowflakes. So gonna have to go in here and every one. You could go in here with a paintbrush too, the back end of a paintbrush, and blob it with the, like take the back end of a paintbrush. If you want a bigger, now this is all watered down, so I need a place where it's not watered down. Okay, so I can just take the back end of a brush if I want a bigger dot like that, and you can just go in there. So it doesn't take as much time to cover them all. You can just get a nice big blob. Now it's going to take a minute to dry because it's kind of blobby, right? Get my sleeve out of it. But I'm covering up those big black snowflakes. You can add a few more. Hey, Tammy, I'm doing the snow scene like you wanted. We're over 2 hours in. I'm almost done for the day. Just wanted to get the snow on here, and then I wanted to add some stickles too. Do I have time? Let's see. Maybe. If time runs out, guys, if you're watching this recording, time runs out, what I'm going to do after this is I'm going to take some diamond stickles and add, see, these snowflakes would be like right at your face, right? Add some diamond stickles. So if time runs out and the recording ends, just know that that's what I'm going to do to finish the snow here. And again, guys, I would not do this part. That's a little much right there. Just needs one. I would not do the snow part until the very end, after you finished everything. Because I'm going to want snow everywhere, right? All right, let's see. Let me pick out a couple more Kirby snows. And I'm just saying that because that's where he's put the black dots for snow. You got to go in there and find them all, or you'll have a black dot in your sky. So I'm just kind of finding them all. This needs a little bit of oomph to it. Coming along. Thanks, guys. It takes time, it does. Just like any kind of painting or color book page. Alright, so there we go. Now, one other thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and take paint, and I'm going to, you could do this with the Posca too, but I'm going to highlight a couple of white highlights on the mountain. Okay, so like where the light might just actually be hitting a little bit of a highlight. You could do this with the Posca, but just a little, not too much. Don't lose your nice dark mountains. Okay, but you might have a little bit of light areas, whiter areas. Just kind of picking out a couple here. Okay. Might be a couple more up here. This one's farther away, but it's the sun might be hitting this one more. Maybe there might be a little bit more coming down here. You can kind of pick out your own. Just don't have to just necessarily go with the color book. You can pick out places you might want extra snow, or, you know. Thanks, guys. If you don't like some of those black lines, you're going to have to like either paint them out or shadow them with your purple. You know. Let's get right in that little crevice in there. All right, now let's really quickly, I wanted to do a little bit of, let's dry this again. Hang on. Aw, thanks, guys. And you can get in there on some of these dark lines if you don't want some of those lines to show. Get in there with your, let me just grab a pencil real quick. A purple. So you can get in here and look, so you can get in there and shadow even more. I don't want to do this now because I'm kind of just, you know, stopping over, but I just want y'all to see that you can get in there. Do this part though before you do the snow, because now see I have to go around the snow if I want to do this. But if you want get rid of some of those dark crevices, get in here and do this before you do the snow. But you see how you can make some really nice contrast there with the darks? See what I mean? Know what I mean, Vern? So I got a little ahead of myself so I could show y'all more steps. But you see? And of course I can always just throw some more snow on here. It's not like these snowflakes can't be covered up and more added, right? But I want y'all to see that you can get in here with your pencil. Or more paint. You could do this with more paint. You want to jump right in. You know, you can do this with more paint as well, more layers of paint. Okay, but I'm going to shadow some of the snow right here. I'm trying to show you a lot of things in one show so that you have lots of ideas. You see where we're going with this though? See how you can add from here, this to this, just by adding a little bit more depth with your pencils. Okay? Which I'm just not going to have time to do today because we've got about 4 minutes at most before our time is up. So I wanted to show you. See, now I gotta, if I had stickles on top of this, now that's going to be tricky to try to color pencil around. But I just want to show you a couple things. Take your white pencil, which I got to sharpen here. And again, do these little things at the very end, guys, at the end. Don't do your snow, or like here I'm going to put a little bit of, you know, a little bit of snow glow. Don't do this kind of stuff till the very end. You want this to be the icing on the cake, right? Because then if you want to add any more color or anything, you're fighting those little things that you've done. I'll just do the sky snow just to show you. All right, so like that, okay? See how that looks in the sky? Now take your stickles, like your diamond or ice, either one, anything that's clear, just a clear stickles, and let's get that going, and add it in on top. You can put a little dot on each one if you want. I'm just going to do the sky ones because I feel like I'm really kind of done with the sky. But you want to make sure, actually there's a couple places I could still add some white around. But I just want you to see, and then right on the mountains as well, the tops of the mountains, where the snow caps are. And I'll tilt it for you so you can see, because we are going to run out of time really fast. All right. So thanks everybody for being here. Again, not done. Just trying to show you all some ideas. Test them out. Take your time. Don't rush through it like we kind of do here. And the clear, either the ice or the diamond or any of the clear stickles, will pick up the color underneath, right? So whatever color's underneath will show through. So, okay. Thanks, guys. All right, here we go. Let's see if you can see. There you go. See? So you put the stickles on the mountaintops and on your snowflakes. I'm not going to do these snowflakes now with the stickles because I want to do a little bit more, you know, work on the mountains. But you can see where I put some in the sky and on the mountaintops. But take your time, don't rush through it. You know, enjoy the process. I know we do a little quicker here. There's a color right there. I know we do a little quicker here because of time, but, you know, take your time and do it. No, I'm not going to start another stream today. Do you want to stream, Laura? No, I'm not. I got to get something to eat, guys. I haven't eaten. It's 12:30, so I think I'm just going to call it a day today. But if anybody else wants to stream, tell everybody now before we leave because, yeah, I shut down the chat and everything when we leave. So yeah, so hopefully, let me back out. Hopefully y'all enjoyed don't want to get too dark, but it's a little flashed out there when I backed out. So there's right about there's the true color. And yeah. And then if you, well, Kitty, I don't know when I'll get back to this page. Yes, I will. I'll continue to work on it, but you know, I'll just call this working in Mythomorphia because I also worked on this page. Remember, and I can't close the book because of the stickles, but I also am working on this page. Remember? So yeah. Hey, Shalene, good to see you. So both these pages. So it's kind of like all my Kirby's. I work a little here, a little there. But I want y'all to get the ideas, right? And it takes time to do all this. And so we'll get back to it. We'll get back to it. But now you know, at least how to do the mountains in the sky. All right, guys. Well, I hope you have a good, I don't know if I'll stream Friday. I never know until practically Friday morning if I can stream on Fridays. But y'all can always find me every Monday, most Wednesdays, and the occasional Friday. Although I think Hubster's off this Friday. Probably won't be streaming this Friday. It's Good Friday, Easter weekend. We have family plans, so I probably won't stream on Friday. So if I don't, then I'll see you guys on Monday or other people's streams. Did anybody decide to stream next? I'll go get something to eat and go join you over there and work on some things. All right, guys. Thanks. Just tweet if you're streaming. And thanks, guys. Y'all have a great week and a happy, blessed Easter weekend if you celebrate it. Passover. Thanks, everybody. Because some paints, like some like lime green, red, and yellow, sometimes they need 2 coats. But if you're sitting there, where's a brush? If you take the paint, Let me get us something, just another sample thing here. Just put a dot of paint out here. Whoops. Get the little crusty bit. So if you put some paint on it and you kind of do this, you just keep working it in until it's, you know, solid. See, I would just stay in one area, because some paints, it's not that the paint's thin. The Americana paint is very nice for a craft paint, and the reason I use craft paints and not like artist grade is because the artist grade paints, and again, I can't say every single paint ever made, but they'll have a sheen to them, and that sheen prevents color pencil from going over the top of it. Okay, so it's not that these paints are thin, it's just certain colors are more translucent. So you got to kind of keep working it until it's a solid color. You know what I mean? See how that works? Whereas if I just went like, you know, like that, you can still see how it's translucent still. So I would just take the paint and keep working it, and it like soaks into your paper. Okay? All right, let me clean my brush. So that was the next thing I did was, oh, and I was going to talk about the Crayola. These are just Crayola kids markers. The ones that I have bought are like 50 in a pack for like $9.99. But if you use a coupon from Hobby Lobby or Michael's, you can get 50% off, 40% off. You can get a set of 50 for $6, $5. And then I've also heard people say that Walmart has sets of them as well. So they're very inexpensive, and they last a long time. They last a long time. So those are the colors that I use there. There's no color name on them. And if you do get one, some of the sets, they used to, I don't know if they still do, some of the sets have a few black barrel ones. Those are scented. They're the same colors, but they have a scent to them. And if you know what Fruit Loops smell like, the yellow and orange smell exactly like Fruit Loops. But that's the difference. With the black barrel, it's not a different color. It's just that they're scented. Okay, same marker, same marker. Okay, so then after I did some of the darker green, then I went in here with the apple green and just started kind of blending it out. I'm just going on top of the marker and on top of the green paint. Okay, and you can do all this works, and again, it's hard to get down in that ditch. You can do this and have it work and blend pencils, because the acrylic paint gives it tooth, it's texture. The Tombow markers are more, they're not as watery like these. Now these are not what you would call watercolor markers. They're not like the Sakura brush watercolor. These will not blend like watercolor markers will. There's different brands out there of watercolor markers that will blend like watercolor. These are not those. These are just kids water-based markers. Okay, the Tombow are, I'm not sure what all, I mean, I know they're not alcohol-based, but, and I haven't used those forever. I had sets of them 20 years ago. You know, I don't have any anymore. But for color book pages, these just work really good. Okay. Okay, thanks, Scooby. Thank you. I'm so happy about anytime you get to spend time with that baby. So, you know, and just take your time and blend and enjoy the process, right? Again, just because I'm going really fast on the show doesn't mean that you need to go that fast, or that I even go that. Welcome back, everybody, to Coffee and Art in the Morning, Wednesday morning. As y'all know, this is a live show on Ustream.tv if you're watching over on YouTube. And we have a live chat. I stream usually every Monday, most Wednesdays, and the occasional Fridays, 9 a.m. Eastern. Coffee and Art in the Morning. So thanks for being here. So I got my Mythomorphia in the mail yesterday. Kirby Roseanne's. And so I'm going to do a quick little flip through. And also, I started a page. So the page that I started is this one. And the book now, the paper's thicker. Let me say this. The paper is much thicker than his Mythomorphia and Anamorphia. Much thicker paper. I'd say it's at least 90 weight cardstock thickness. I've not tried to, use, I'm sure alcohol markers go through even cardstock. But I never really, even with the thinnest paper, I never have a problem with any medium going through because I don't oversaturate. It's the water that breaks down and pills your paper, and that's what causes things to go through, other than alcohol markers. Alcohol markers pretty much go through everything. And but the paper is much thicker in this, and I think because the paper's thicker, it's a little hard to get the spine to lie flat, which, I try to just paint in the crevice, and it is what it is. It's a color book, people. Yes, the paper is much thicker. So this is the page, and let me go ahead and try to darken, tone down the brightness just a little, because it is flashing out. It'll give me a tan, but but it will be true to color. That's more true to color right there. So yeah. So when we color it, we'll have the right colors. The hard way you ruin your first. Yeah, you just can't. Oh, the thing about layering, whether you're doing it with watercolors or whatever, if you want to layer your colors, you have to have them dry in between. Dry in between. If you're using watercolor, your Neocolor 2 water-soluble crayons, or whatever you use with wet medium, dry it before you put that next layer. Okay? If you dry it before you put that next layer, then you'll probably be good. Yes, DeMonte, somebody already, Tammy messaged me last night and said, we want you to do the snow page. So I might do a little bit on that as well. But this is the one I started last night. So what I want to do is explain to you what I've done so far and where I'm going. Now when I start coloring, I'll probably even zoom in even closer. But I wanted you to see the full book. And then I'll do a flip, and then we'll get to work. So what I did on this one, I started by painting the background, and I kind of mushed it around so it wasn't just flat. I wanted it a little bit light and darks, but I just painted it in with Irish Moss Americana craft paint. And anytime y'all see me use craft paint or paint, it is usually Americana craft paint. No water added. No water added. Okay, so I just kind of mushed it around, and it probably took me about close to 2 hours to paint in the whole background. And that's how I started. I painted the whole background in first. Then I went in here with just the kids' Crayola markers. Now, let me warn you, when you go over acrylic paint with these, you don't have to worry about it when you're just doing it straight on the book. But when you're going over acrylic paint, which is almost like, it's almost kind of like has gessoed your page, so to speak, you got to let that dry. It'll smear. You got to let it dry, okay? Or hit it with the heat gun, or even put another layer of pencil over it, which I wanted pencil over it anyway. But I stippled the whole bottom here with these are the Crayola fast when I'm coloring by myself. Okay? All right, so again, it did take me a good hour and 45 minutes or so, maybe 2 hours, to do all the background painted in. Okay? And then another, hour, I don't know. I didn't really time it, but, I worked on the whole thing for a good 3 hours. Then the next thing I did is I wanted to kind of stick with about 3 colors on her. I have not decided what colors to do him yet. And I probably won't work on him today because everybody wants me to work on the snow page. But anyway, before I start coloring a little bit more on her, to show you, at least get you showing how I'm doing it. I don't have to color the whole thing for you to see that, but I want to at least give you a little flip of the book. Okay, so let's see here. Do I need to tilt it up a little? So there's other people, Laura included. I need to watch her video of, she did a complete flip of this. But I just want to kind of let y'all see some of the pages that are in it. I'm not going to really talk about each one. The names of the animals and the myth, or the, you know, that's all in the back here, what they are, you know, like the Yeti, and, you know, they're all in here in the back. So if you want to know, hey, Vicky, if you want to know what myth they're covering, or Kirby drew, they're all here in the back. So yeah, they're all in the back. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of show you here. I'm just going to do a little bit of a flip just so you can get an idea what's in the book. Yeti doesn't need to be done today. So yeah, kind of give you a little bit of close-up view. Just going to kind of do a quick flip. You can, okay, Funda. I love this one. Well, I like them all, don't get me wrong. Dragons. Just give y'all a little peek. Streamer's Choice of DeMonte. Isn't it cool though, guys? Bye, Clarissa. And then here's the one I'm working on. And here's a Yeti in the snow scene. And I might do a little bit on this one. I might do a little work on here. Which page did you show that you loved? The tree face in the tree. This one. I think that's just so awesome. Wood nymph. I'm not sure what. Let me see what the title of that one is. Green Man. It's called Green Man. Okay, so let's keep going here. Turtle. Sea turtle. Okay. All right. Thanks, Marie, and happy birthday again. Werewolf. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? Look at that. The turtle is Laura's page. Yeah, she likes her sea turtles. Some more dragon. I'm just doing a quick little flip here, guys. I'm sure there's tons of videos with more in-depth. Well, let's put it this way, I can start the winter scene. I won't be finishing the winter scene. Oh, Minotaur. Oh. Medusa. Aren't they cool though? You like this? This is your favorite of his books? Yeah, and they don't have as many little doodles. you know, like in Anamorphia and Imaginomorphia, this page would probably have thousands of little tiny, I mean, it's still got some, you know, other things, but it would be just full of tiny, tiny little doodles. And that's awesome for those books, but it was nice to have one that's different. You know, it doesn't have, it's still of detail, don't get me wrong. A lot of detail. But it doesn't have millions of little tiny hidden little creatures and things. You know? Some elves and orcs and there's a little fairy down here. Yeah, not so many tiny doodles. Yeah, exactly. So I'm just doing a quick little flip here for you guys. Just so you can kind of see. Isn't that cool? Look at the detail. Cyclops. See, like this one has quite a bit in it. This is how all his other pages were. You know, just full of doodles. And then here's all the hidden items. And then here's all the different, which creatures are and where the hidden items are. And then here's this Anamorphia and Imaginomorphia there. So yeah, okay. So let's go back to the page I'm working on, and I'm going to zoom in and hopefully get some of the flash gone and show you what I'm working on here. So 1 second. Okay. Come on. Focus. Focus. That's pretty good color there. I'll look like I'll look like I have a nice tan, but but I want the colors to be true to what they are, you know. And that's pretty good right there. Okay, so then what I've done, the colors that I decided to use on her, I wanted all this to be just these 3 colors. Well, there's a, you know, a little bit of variation, but so I went with a mint, I went with a pink, and I went with it's not this yellow. It's kind of a darker yellow. So super tip kids markers, okay? They look like this, bullet tip. And I like these because you can get tiny marks, you can get a thicker, thin, you can get different, let me get over here and get so you can get thin lines, you can get a medium line, and you can get a thick line. You can get all that different variation of width with these, and as long as you're not scrubbing with these, I've used these on the thinnest color book pages without it going through. As long as you just do something like this, you're good. You start doing this over and 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 over, it's going to go through. It'll go through anything if you do that long enough, right? He who won't be, I missed something, Valerie. I don't know what you're saying. He won't be here long. I don't know what you mean. I missed something. Did I miss something? Mods have boots. If something's going on, they have permission to boot out anybody, any trolls, any problems. So I must have missed something, but my mods are in control. They're good. Okay, so I did some stippling with that. And I did quite a bit. That probably took me about an hour. I probably worked on this total about 3.5 to 4 hours. yesterday while I was watching Janet, and then a little bit later. Anyway, I worked on it for probably about 3.5, 4 hours. So I did the dark stippling, and then I did a lighter shade of like an olive color. Yes, these are all Crayola markers. Now, again, because it's on top of a, so it's like it's a non-absorbent, non-absorbent because I painted it. The markers sit on top for a few minutes. Okay, so you either have to hit it with the heat gun or be careful not to smear it because it will smear until it's dry. What I knew what I was going to do with it anyway, so after it dried, then I went over it. I'm going to try to show you everything I used. Then I took an olive, or a dark green and an olive green. Is this the one? These two? Uh-oh. Maybe it was these two. I took a dark green and a apple green, and I just kind of blended it in a little bit more. So you can see I just kind of went over it even more over the top. But I wanted that stipply look. Okay, you can't get that with pencil, those dots. So, but then I just kind of started blending it out with the dark green, and these are Prismacolor. And then I used the apple green and kind of blended it in, going up, toward the top. So I just kind of used those two colors to blend in the stippling even more. Okay. Okay. So again, I could, even work a little bit more on the green down here. And these pages, y'all know, any kind of adult coloring book with a lot of detail, even though I do go kind of fast on our show, when I'm sitting by myself, I'm taking more time. Okay, I try to do as much as I can on the show to give you all the ideas, but just because I work fast doesn't mean I always work fast when I'm by myself, or that you should work fast. You don't need to. You take your time, right? But I kind of try to show you as many ideas as possible. So I kind of do that, and then I took the apple green and kind of blended it in. And the green paint I used was the Irish Moss. And then this is apple green and dark green on top. And these Crayola kid markers, it was just one coat of paint, TNT, but it was kind of thick. Kind of scrubbed it in, you know what I mean? I didn't leave an area until it was kind of scrubbed in.